Hello, hello, and welcome to our 5th annual Azure Cosmos DB conference, the conference for community by community. Cosmos DB is used in every day of our lives. It powers many of the apps we use daily. It powers all of Microsoft Cloud apps, powers world's fastest growing consumer app, ChatGPT. And there is a good reason for it. Cosmos DB is AI ready. It offers built-in vector and hybrid search over schemaless semi-structured data. It runs world's mission-critical apps thanks to its active-active multi-region write ability with 5 nines availability and millisecond latency guarantees. That's right, always available with 4 replicas always, and multi-region writes give you availability no matter what happens. Even if the entire region goes down, your Cosmos DB will be available. It is serverless, with 2 convenient serverless pricing models. You can pay for transactions, or if you have high transaction rate, you can pay for transaction rates for throughput with instant automatic scaling without limits. It comes with developer-friendly schemaless data model and APIs, including world's most popular API, MongoDB API. And might I say, it is the cheapest, fastest, and the best MongoDB API among the cloud services for MongoDB. It integrates really well with Microsoft Stack, AI Stack, App Stack, and Data Stack, Microsoft Fabric. Just to highlight a couple additions since our last Cosmos DB conference, we rolled out dynamic autoscale, saving customers up to 80% cost. We rolled out built-in vector search and full-text search. No longer you have to duplicate your data and move data to another search service, and many other capabilities. Take, for example, change feed. I would like to invite Gavrylyuk, our fearless group product manager, to join me and demo the recent addition to Cosmos DB change feed, preserving all versions and deletes. Andrew, please take it away.
Hey, Kirill. I've got some exciting updates to share both with you and our audience here on Cosmos DB's change feed. I should probably first level set. What is Cosmos DB change feed, and why is it interesting? The simplest way to think about change feed is akin to exposing message queue semantics from within a database. Elaborating a bit here, change feed provides a persisted, ordered stream of changes from within your Cosmos DB containers and exposes them in the order they occur. It enables you to build reactive applications that respond asynchronously and incrementally to data changes. You can read the change feed multiple ways, whether it's through the SDK via 2 modes, a pull model or a push model, or through integrations like triggering serverless Azure functions. Reading is scalable and leverages Cosmos DB's distributed backend. It reads in parallel from each of the Cosmos DB underlying partitions. By leveraging change feed, developers can efficiently create scalable and resilient applications that are tightly coupled to the continuous flow of their data. Now, a frequently asked question I get is, what can you build with change feed? Common scenarios I've seen include are event-driven architectures or event sourcing. I'll explain this one a bit. An example of event sourcing is order processing pipelines in large-scale e-commerce systems. Orchestrating many microservices, such as checkout, payment, order notification, fulfillment, can be challenging. And microservices need to communicate to n-1 other microservices. That's an n-squared scaling problem. Now, you can greatly simplify this by eventing the orders on a shared message bus. You also want to persist these orders in an index database in order to power experiences like showing the order status page to both your customers and your support teams. So why not just use a message queue and a database separately? Well, it's about resiliency. When I have a database and a message queue and use them together, when everything is behaving as expected, life is good. However, what about error conditions? If the app successfully writes to the database, but not the message queue, or vice versa. In those situations, you might show an order was confirmed, but it fails to make progress on payment and fulfillment, and your customer is left waiting. Alternatively, you might process it for payment and send it to fulfillment. However, it's left in a pending state, lending to a lot of confusion. And as you go and look at all of the different permutations of orchestrating n to n-1 microservices, this can require a lot of complexity in the error handling. Building an event store over change feed enables you to reconcile the truth between the database and the event bus. Other examples here, of course, include data auditing, real-time analytics, such as stream processing and data movement. And when you do that data movement, you can go and add additional processing, such as aggregating over a stream processor to build leaderboards, or implement design patterns, such as global secondary indices. Now, what's new here is the new change feed mode, all versions and deletes. With all versions and deletes, this is different from the existing mode where we would surface every insert and update and avoid the write amplification. In the original change feed mode, it would only keep the latest version of the record. Now, the advantage of that is if I update, let's say, a 1 kilobyte record 10 times, it only occupies 1 kilobyte in the database. However, there are other use cases where you want the complete history, where you want to have all of the incremental versions as well as deletes. This gets stored efficiently in the underlying log that powers Cosmos DB's point-in-time recovery for backup restore. And where this becomes very useful is if you have use cases like detailed audit logs for compliance, or you want to add resiliency to data processing pipelines, where you need to be able to reliably reconstruct past states of data. So let's jump into a demo real quick. I have a canonical scenario here where I've built a game on top of the Cosmos DB change feed. It's a fairly simple game where it's a dice rolling game where I can go roll the dice and based off of that get achievements. Now, where change feed commonly gets used in gaming, of course, is to power both multiplayer and social gaming so that you can broadcast gaming events to other players, as well as to build aggregates where you stream process a leaderboard. And you want to make sure that you're not doing heavy aggregation queries. In order to get short millisecond, fast responsive apps, what you want to do is you want to pre-materialize into a view. Now, as I look at this game, let's take a look at how do I attach this to the change feed. First, I'm going to go to my Cosmos DB account, and enabling the change feed is very easy. I go over to features, and as you can see here, there's an all versions and deletes change feed mode. I go and turn that on. Now I go into my app, and what I'm going to do here is I'll restart the app. I'm going to go read the change feed, and reading the change feed is actually very straightforward. I can go and use, this is also new, is we've expanded the SDK support of change feed, including the Python SDK. So I'm using the Python SDK here to query the change feed. And as you can see here, I'm also going and taking a look at injecting the mode all versions and deletes. As I get the responses for that, that gives me both the document body as well as some metadata. I can go and track to see if it's a delete, a replace, and base that, build conditional logic off of the body of the document. And so if I go and put this side by side with my app, as I go and roll the dice here, as you can see in real time, I am able to go and track the events directly from the change feed. We're going to do a deeper dive in change feed later at Cosmos Conf. We're going to have a wonderful session with Justine. But with that, back to you, Kirill.
Thank you, Andrew. This full fidelity in change feed simplifies many use cases. If you have a situation where you have many copies of the data and you're doing double writes, take a look at this. Now, Cosmos DB offers flexible, schemaless data model and APIs, including popular MongoDB API. Cosmos DB vCore for MongoDB is a relatively new offering, but rapidly gaining popularity as a faster, cheaper, and better MongoDB. It is consistently 20% cheaper than MongoDB Atlas for any SKU, with simple, intuitive vCore-based pricing. It is faster and better than native MongoDB in many use cases, not every. And it is open source under MIT license. That is right. You can fork it, run it on premises or your favorite environment. No strings attached. Permissive MIT license. Dynamic autoscale was probably the most popular addition of 2024 to Cosmos DB. It is now adopted by more than 80% of Cosmos DB usage, responding instantly to workloads needs per partition per region. If only one partition is active, only one partition is scaled up, and you build only for one partition, the rest stays at minimum. OpenAI is a great example of Cosmos DB elasticity and dynamic autoscale in action. OpenAI grew from 0 to 400 million weekly active users, making it the fastest growing consumer app ever. And more than 200 daily database transactions. Cosmos DB is the main database used by more than 50 various workloads at OpenAI, including ChatGPT itself. What attracted OpenAI to Cosmos DB is seamless scalability. It just elastically scales as workload size multiplies, no need to worry about servers, and schemaless data model, allowing developers to rapidly change the app, not worrying about database schema. This schemaless capability is very important today, more than ever. Developers will build apps with the help of AI more and more. Because AI makes refactoring much easier, developers will do more refactorings. But refactoring that changes the data model is brittle. If you have to change the database schema, that means you're changing it in the schema, in the ORM, and in the application if you're using a relational traditional database. With Cosmos DB, there is no schema, there is no problem, and you do not need to do data migrations between different data models. Cosmos DB now has built-in vector search and full text search and hybrid search, where vector search results are re-ranked with full text RRF. Now, what that allows you to do is to not duplicate data between Cosmos DB and yet another search service. It is serverless and has the lowest cost per query and the lowest latency across all leading vector databases on the market. Not surprisingly, CIOs named Cosmos DB #1 choice for AI database in a recent CIO survey by Bloomberg. Cosmos DB is used by many AI use cases today. Here are the most popular ones, and you can find samples on GitHub for each of these use cases. Next, I am honored to be joined by Kunal Mukherjee, Vice President at DocuSign, who will share with us how DocuSign is solving the $2 trillion agreements problem with the help of Azure Cosmos DB, both availability, elasticity, and AI, and schemaless. Let us invite Kunal on stage. Hi, Kunal. Great to have you on our show. Could you tell us briefly about the $2 trillion agreements problem?
Thanks, Kirill. Great to be here. Let me start with an obvious fact. Every single one of us signs documents digitally, many of them with DocuSign. And now for some numbers. We have around 1.6 million customers who send out documents for signing, and a staggering 1 billion. Yep, you heard me right. Billion with a B signers. That makes for a staggering number of documents. The sheer scale of that makes it infeasible until now to figure out how many documents are coming up for renewal, by which date, and what would be the consequences of not acting in a timely fashion. To provide a concrete example, I have found myself locked into a lease on both a house and a car in my past life because I lost track of renewal dates and terms, as I suspect have many in this audience. Now consider that some large enterprises and even governments have standardized on DocuSign for digital signatures of every single of their agreements. The sum total of all of that scale adds up to a staggering 2 trillion number.
That's incredible. Agreements are so fundamental to our lives. This is our relationship graph, especially for corporate. Precision of search recommendations over that graph must be crucial. Where do you guys store all this data, and how do you search it and vectorize it?
Great question. We use Cosmos and SQL. SQL to catch all of the e-signature transactions as they happen, for which we, of course, need asset guarantees, similar to an ATM. And Cosmos, which stores what we call the brains of our agreements by way of the agreement data model that we call ADM, where we store industry and vertical standard schema and metadata, including AI-inferred metadata about individual agreements, so as to make them actionable and essentially solve that $2 trillion problem you alluded to earlier. We need to vectorize in order to provide search precision, take into account domain, jargon, etc. And we are moving away from search systems to Cosmos, which provides built-in vector and search capabilities, all in the same place.
This is very interesting. We observe this trend generally for databases, and for Cosmos DB specifically, more and more customers move to use Cosmos DB for retrieval and search. How did you arrive at that conclusion?
It's pretty simple when you boil it down. DocuSign is a SaaS offering, and we need to provide performance and availability and to ensure seamless experience. Documents, summaries, metadata, etc. are all already stored in Cosmos DB. We needed a retrieval system that used the latest state-of-art algorithms, was cost-effective, and multi-tenant. Cosmos with Disk ANNN implementation is 60 times cheaper than in-memory counterparts that we evaluated and provides reliability and security guarantees that we need. Semantic retrieval and natural language interactions is simply the next step in the evolution of database queries.
Thank you so much, Kunal. Super grateful for having you as a customer. Given schemaless and horizontal scale nature of Cosmos DB, it is purpose-built for AI scenarios, especially for multi-tenant SaaS offerings like DocuSign. Most of Microsoft Cloud uses this for precisely these reasons, and so do many SaaS products.
Thank you.
This was enlightening. Schema flexibility of Cosmos DB, in addition to built-in semantic search, really opens up new opportunities for the apps, where you don't have to move your data and you get serverless retrieval system on semi-structured data. Now, today happens to be tax day in the United States. Stressful day for many of you. Let us hear from Vin Kamat, principal architect at H&R Block, on how reliability and elasticity of Cosmos DB, as well as its AI capabilities, help H&R Block navigate the peak of peaks of tax season with ease. Let us invite Vin on stage. Hi, Vin, and thank you so much for joining our Azure Cosmos DB Conf keynote. Could you describe how H&R Block has utilized Azure Cosmos DB to support both AI-enabled and non-AI applications, and what benefits have you observed from Cosmos DB in your applications?
Sure. We started our journey of cloud modernization several years ago, and we needed an ecosystem of services in Azure that all work together and on the Azure stack. So one of the obvious ways to do that is to use cloud native services. And in our stack, we started using Azure Cosmos DB. And one of the reasons is because it offers schemaless data model with domain-specific boundary-driven data, enabling distributed replication and scaling features. Those were really important for most of our mission-critical tier 1 tax systems, which we call modernized tax systems. Now, there are other AI-enabled applications that we started to work on in the past few recent years, like 2 to 3 years. We started to, also use Cosmos DB for storing various types of other data that's specific to AI applications, such as chat history, user state, prompt variants, user feedback, etc. So the benefits, if I have to speak about the benefits, they are primarily around enhanced flexibility, scalability, operational efficiency, cloud adoption, which is going to be accelerated as you move through your rapid application development. All of that, enabled us to move faster to the cloud and then sustain that and mature in that space. One of the other things that I would like to highlight is it really enabled our event-driven architecture, microservices, and the fantastic JSON document support provides the ability to store high volumes of data attributes, which is really important for a fintech company like ours.
That's really awesome. Could you share specific examples of how Cosmos DB enhanced your AI apps, such as the AI Text Assist feature, and the improvements in client satisfaction and conversion rates?
Absolutely. We launched AI Tax Assist almost, a couple of seasons ago. And since then, we have seen a rapid adoption of it and incremental uplift in conversion of clients that use AI Tax Assist compared to those that did not, with also increase in conversion rates for new clients. So AI Tax Assist, the persistence layer or the backbone for it is Azure Cosmos DB. So we use all kinds of other Azure AI services in the architecture of the system, but Cosmos DB forms a key enabler in providing storage and data. So like I said, chat history, user prompt variants, user feedback, benchmark testing data, all of that is supported by the storage that we have in Cosmos DB. The Azure and .NET ecosystem make it seamless to dive in, experiment, and deploy apps. And with our partnership with Microsoft, we have close collaboration and especially product support that also accelerates our solution to market becomes really possible.
It's very delightful to see the success when you success with a particular investment using our platform. Uh, how has the transition from SQL Server to Cosmos DB impacted the performance and scalability of your app, particularly during the peak tax season?
Sure. We still have many tax systems that still use SQL Server for RDBMS data to support critical operations. But we have several modern tax platform systems that use Cosmos DB. And because of its high scalability, navigating peaks of the tax season is not that difficult anymore. We're supporting high transactions volumes, achieving 400 to 1 million RUs, depending on the scalability. And also that enables us to prepare millions of tax returns during a very short period of time. And it becomes really important for us to ensure that the flexibility and operational efficiency, along with the scalability, make sure that the peak season goes without a hitch. So there are some things that we pay attention to for dynamic scaling and partitioning. But other than that, once you have matured enough to do that, then it all becomes part of the operations.
That's great. And today is a tax day in the United States. So this is your peak of peak, right? How is Cosmos DB working out for you?
No, it's been fantastic. We've had a great tax season. We look forward to finishing it really, really strong. And as I already mentioned, lots of things have come together, focusing on quality and resiliency. So over the past several years, we have made sure that we serve our clients, tax pros and associates, who all work. All of the associates always work and make sure that we serve our clients and tax pros first. And in order to do that, we need to have a very robust system in the cloud that can serve them during these peaks of the tax season, especially April 15th. And a couple of things I would like to mention is that when you look at some of the capabilities, especially Cosmos DB offers, along with a whole bunch of Azure services, one of the things that it has helped us do is streamline data gathering processes. And that really helps our tax pros and our engineering teams save time. And overall, I'm really excited about looking ahead all the capabilities that are recently part of the Cosmos DB feature list, especially vector search, the disk and support, the auto indexing data, data analytics backing store, leading up to Fabric is another thing that we are looking forward to, and real-time BI layer. So those are 4 different capabilities that we are looking to experiment and in future, hopefully, adopt them. Thank you.
We're excited too. Thank you so much for joining our show and being our customer.
Thank you.
Well, this was a really great example how Cosmos DB elasticity helps customers scale for the peak dynamically, no over-provisioning of resources required, and how built-in AI capabilities help H&R Block improve engagement with customers. Really great story. We have only briefly touched the surface area of use cases trending today with Cosmos DB. I hope you will enjoy the conference and learn something new today.